Let's try that again, I guess. Okay, for some reason, that bugged. No, I didn't notice it. How far did we get through that? Let's have a look. Go to VODs. Alright then. A little rude. Wow. Okay, let's just start that again. Let's just start the
If anybody's been following my content for any period of time, none of this should come off as a surprise. We probably had these conversations more in private and on stream. But I want to be honest with you guys. I want to be direct with you guys, and I'm going to tell you what's going on. Now, if you guys want to see a review of Endwalker, I just posted that over on Gingerprime vid. You can go check that out. I've got some plans for that channel, but we're not going to cover that here in this video. But there's 3 main reasons why I'm leaving Final Fantasy XIV, and I want to be also very direct and not have set false expectations. This isn't a break. I've been and I've taken breaks from Final Fantasy XIV. This is something very, very different. I'm actually not burned out of Final Fantasy XIV. This is something very, very different because I've experienced those things in the past. I feel like Final Fantasy XIV, I'm looking for them to invite me back into the game, and maybe 7.0 will be that re-invitation to the game. But don't misunderstand me. I'm not committing or promising that I will be back for 7.0 or 8.0. It's really going to be on Square Enix and to see if they kind of make a game that I want to play and I want to invest my time in, but that hasn't been the case, and that hasn't been the case for a while. I think it's been the story that's kind of held me on. The story's been completed, and after having finished Omni 90, I could tell you that experience was the hardest thing I've had to do. And in regards to that, let's go ahead and dive into my reasons for leaving Final Fantasy XIV, just so we're all on the same page. I've been covering Final Fantasy XIV for over 13 years. Longer if you actually count Project Rapture. This equates to easily over 120,000 hours. I have bled Final Fantasy XIV. I have slept, I have dreamed, I have daydreamed, I've written, and I have been a part of this community before it even was a community, before there was even a game. I don't know why. This game just, captured my attention as a Final Fantasy fan, as an 11 player looking to see what this next generation Final Fantasy game could be. And so it's been an incredible journey. During said time for this game, I wasn't even married, I had no kids. Now here I am as a father of 5, and that's really the first reason. I want to invest more time in my family.
again.
Clearly, they are everything to me. And I've been coaching soccer, I've been coaching baseball, we've been riding bikes, we've been doing so many fun things. And what I had to do to help get the content out, especially for, and I'm going to finish the controller guides, but we'll talk about that in a second. But I would be getting up at 5 a.m. every day. I'd be going to bed after 10. Like, these are some very long days that I have to be as a provider for the family, but also try to be present for the family, and at the same time also working on content. People have often asked, how do you do it, Brian? Like I can't, like, you put out content, you're doing all these things, how are you doing it? And it's like, I would always say, like, I get up, like, I get up before everybody else does. Like, I'm up very early and I'm going to bed very late, and that takes a toll. That takes a big toll on anybody, right? And so I want to pour more of my time back into my kids and into my family, and this, I think, is a really good thing. They are...
Okay. Again, it's a valid reason to... You put family first before anything. That is always the #1 priority. In any married man's family man, you know. Same with women, you know. Your family comes first, that's understandable. But, again, you kind of did this to yourself. Now, not to sound rude, but it's like, you have all these different channels. Again, like, you know, you've worked on, you know, Work to Game, Gingerprime, Was it Ginger? He had like a bunch of channels. Let me just get his channel up. You know, he has like
Hello, everyone.
bunch of channels. Yeah, there's Ginger Final Fantasy 14 Gaming, Ginger Blue Gaming, Ginger Destiny Gaming, Ginger World Gaming, Gingerprime Says, Work to Game. You know, like, look at all these channels you have. You know, like look at them all. Like, look at all the channels. You have Gingerprime as your first channel, and then you have all these other channels you're trying to do content for. You know, I know you want to be like a content machine and just get them out, but if you want to, you know, do more of your family, put more time in your family, you need to cut some of these out. Like, Work to Game, you know, you have Brian to, you have Chris to kind of fall back on to help out. Because obviously, Chris does a bunch of content on Work to Game as well.
What's going?
You know, you guys both collab and do stuff. You know, but then obviously Chris has got, you know, gaming kinda and gaming lore kinda. So, you know, like, excuse me. I think this is probably enough, like, channels, to be fair. Like, having to be fair, like, even 3 channels is a lot you have to do. Like I understand. I did YouTube a little bit. Like, I weren't good. I can tell you that. Like, I don't have like the skills of editing and all that. Like, if we go to my old channel, and like I did these like six years ago. Again, I'm not very good. You know, but I was a Let's Player. I just did a bunch of like League of Legends to fucking random stuff. You know, I wasn't in like. And then I started doing Final Fantasy content when I, you know, started doing it. You know, I had this, you know, Final Fantasy 14 like server, the show where I went around the servers and I basically interviewed FCs and stuff about the you know, on those servers. Which was a lot of fun, by the way. I enjoyed the crap out of doing all these and stuff like that. But I don't have the I don't have the knowledge of editing like you guys are. I want to try and work onto it, but again, you have all these channels. Like, you need to like cut some of these out. Like, honestly, like, this is obviously, you know, if you look at it, these two have good viewership. Obviously, your main has good viewership. Same with Work to Game. Like, you know, you're almost so close to 100k. Like, on but like 2. And then you have these. That's fine, but cut these 2 out. You know, and cut these 3 out, and then you know, then you've cut your load down. You know, you've cut your load down by a lot. You know, and now obviously you're quitting Final Fantasy 14. You can kind of like scrap this channel, or I don't know what you're gonna do with that channel. Obviously I haven't looked, but you know, and that's what I think has probably, you know, not helped the fact on that, you know, front. But you know, working on so many channels can also be hard, and that's probably why you stay up till, you know, after 10, and you know, you don't, and you wake up early because you want to get all that out. Yeah. So, you know, cut these 3 out, and then you're just working on these, and obviously you're not playing 14 no more, so you can cut that out or not upload on it. But then you have Ginger World Gaming, which is, I think, New World, right? Yeah, New World. Then just make that. Like, I don't understand why you have these, by the way. Just do these on your main channel. I don't know the the work behind it. of making so many channels and uploading like. So why don't you just put it all on Gingerprime? I know you do a lot of stuff, but look, see, look, you have these. You know, a bunch of shorts. I guess this is more of a controversial channel, I guess, for Gingerprime, where you obviously say your opinions, but you've also got, you've also got like New World stuff, you know, state of games, you know. But hey, right, let's go back to the video.
Like everything, and I'm looking, maybe one day they'll want to step into Final Fantasy 14, you know, and at that point when they're old enough, that might be my re-invitation back to the game. But when it comes down to it, I feel very complete with the way that Final Fantasy 14 ended. I don't like how it ended personally, and you can go watch that video if you're interested, because I'm not rehashing it here, but I feel complete. I feel very satisfied with my experience, and that's why this all falls down into, will they re-invite me back into the game? Ultimately, time will be the teller here, but no, I want to pour myself into that. I want to invest in my family. I want to invest in my health so that I can continue to be with my family. And that really ties into, like, I'm not streaming late at night. I can't keep getting up at this early. I'd rather be investing my time if I'm going to get up early and exercise and making sure that I'm eating right and meals are planned so that I can try to be there for them for as long as I can. And I think that makes a lot of sense, and hopefully people understand that. The second main reason is I'm going to keep investing into my comedy career. As a stand-up comedian, I'm having great success. Like, even outside of being successful in this space and having people show up for shows and keep getting invited back to shows and just ultimately really having a wonderful time with stand-up comedy, it's incredible for my mental health. There is so much that I get to explore, and I get to be funny, and I get to just really kind of not have to worry about the internet and the rules of the internet. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, I made a joke in a video, and like literally, like, obviously lots of positive, but the negatives always seem to float up, and it's those notes, those people who stated these dumb things about the joke, which was clearly a joke, that is the reason why I will never post my stand-up on the internet. And that because people are just so hypersensitive and they just can't seem to handle certain things. And it's not even like an offensive joke. It's just, it is what it is, right? But that just kind of reaffirms, like, I love being a stand-up comedian. I'm having great success being a stand-up comedian. Maybe I can get to the point where I can take the show on the road, and maybe more people can then be a part of that. And so the second piece of this is that I'm going to invest more time into my stand-up, into writing jokes. So again, family comes first, comedy, right there after that. And then the third reason, which also won't come as a shocker for those of you who've been following the content, New World is just so effing good. It is such a great game, and it delivers on the things that I've been advocating for in the world of Final Fantasy, and that's where I'm drawn to. Like, I can't deny the fun and the community that we've had. And so
Okay. I have played New World. I have played New World, and I have played Final Fantasy, obviously. They're two complete different games. Different playstyles. Different, what's the word I'm looking for? Designs. New World, again, I haven't really done, like... New World is a very pretty game. The exploration is, up to me, probably better than Final Fantasy XIV. But how I feel about New World is that it's a little bit like Black Desert Online, where, the leveling, it's very hack and slashy. Again, that's fine with me. Again, I haven't done any of the dungeons or anything. I've been playing, and I've just been enjoying it. It was a very pretty game. I guess I'd have more of an opinion when it comes to endgame content. I've been watching a friend play it as well when it comes to New World. And like so far, I just watching him do a bunch of crafting and stuff. It's basically a survival simulator meets MMO, which again is really awesome because I like that kind of stuff. I liked Valheim, I liked V Rising and stuff, and having it as an MMO form, I think it's really good. But that's where, like, Final Fantasy and New World is completely two separate games, where if you try and advocate what New World does in Final Fantasy, that would break Final Fantasy, because it's not built that way. It's built different. It's very, you know, built different. Yeah, like, obviously, with recent patches, they've kind of really... They've added a lot of, like, new 4-man content with variant dungeons and current dungeons. Like, I did a couple of them, we were doing a couple of them last night. And, you know, that's really good content. You know, you have variant dungeons where, you know, you can, you know, get some, like, stuff. Get some currency and do them, get a mount for it and stuff. Yeah, you know, that's cool. It's pretty easy. But then you go into the crit version and it's hard. You know, we can't get past the first boss, but it's fun. And, you know, and obviously there's like a savage version of that as well, which is like probably like at ultimate difficulty. It's really good. 4-man content. And obviously we have Hildebrand. And all that. So if you didn't do Hildebrand, like doing it now, because it's the comedic side of the game, of Final Fantasy XIV. I haven't really seen anything comedic in New World so far, but I'm only like level 17. But New World is good. Like, don't get me wrong, New World is good in its own right. It has a great story, it has great exploration, you know, so far, and just like moving that, you know, like looking around and just seeing how good it is. Yeah, but you cannot compare the two because they're both built different. They're built different MMOs. You know, it's like, it's kind of hard for you to do that kind of thing because one is like, has this cool survival, like, you know, crafting from like, that you see from a Survivor game. Has that sort of really cool crafting. And it has a different type of playstyle. It's more of hack and slash. Where this is more, you know, general, it's more of I would say basic MMO, but you know the general MMO status where it's like cast bar, you know, it's not hack and slash and all that stuff. Where this is like, it's hack and slash with like a couple of skills and stuff, and like their weapon system is cool. Like, don't get me wrong, New World's cool, Final Fantasy's cool, but you cannot compare the two. And like, say I want to bring something from New World and put it into Final Fantasy because it would be kind of weird. I guess it depends on what, I guess. So I'm getting like messages right now. Right, you know, so I'd rather compare WoW and Final Fantasy because they're literally kind of the same. They have more similarities. With New World, I'd probably put New World and like Black Desert kind of thing, but obviously New World is just 10 times better than Black Desert because Black Desert is just repetitive, where New World, it's not. It's not repetitive. But yeah.
All of those things, being somebody who has limited time, somebody who wants to spend his time and put them in the right buckets, leads me to saying, if I can play just one game, what game do I want to play? And this all came to a head when both New World and 14 had an update on the very same day. 14 deserves better than me having to force myself to play it for the content. And when that, because I was kind of feeling it, and I was kind of questioning it, and I was hoping that maybe the updates would be staggered, so yeah, I could be a part of, you know, both. Because Final Fantasy is a good game. Like, hopefully none of this comes across as like, oh, you shouldn't play Final Fantasy. Now, I'd still highly encourage you to check it out if you never played Final Fantasy. But at its core, I wanted to be in New World. That's where I want to spend my time when I have time to game, and that's where I'm going to spend it. And that's why I'm leaving Final Fantasy 14. My fear is that New World goes down the same route that World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 have gone down. We can see how that leads to issues in their success. Their success has eventually led to an issue, and shouldn't we all be blessed to have that level of success that the games, I think, have struggled with late in their life cycle? And so that's hopefully something that, as a player, that I can continue to provide feedback for that game and make something new. I love that New World feels like it's a game that they're willing to take risks, and I really, really appreciate that, where where in Final Fantasy's terms, whether it's Square Enix, a budget, or whatever, it's a game that just doesn't take risks. It's a game that we've advocated for risk taking, but either they're just too burnt by the original launch, too scared, or from a financial perspective, it just isn't in their best interest. And I can respect that, but I wish they would. I wish 14 was a game that took risks, and it's just...
Okay. So you want them to take risks, but again, Final Fantasy were led by a story that they couldn't really take risks with, in a sense, because obviously they had obviously the story of Zodiac, Hygelin, all that. Now that's ended and we're going into 7.9, I think they're going to take a lot more risks, because it's now their own story. They get to, you know, they get to now spread their wings and try new stuff, you know, kind of thing. But if you're just saying, like, with just normal content, I feel like they kind of have with, like, the content we've recently got. You know, I definitely thought, like, a lot of people thought, oh yeah, the relic system is going to be with going to the void and doing, like, void stuff to upgrade your void weapon or some shit like that. But no, they took it out of the bucket and made it a Hildebrand story. No, I think that was a, or what's it called, you know, I think that was kind of a leap. Because not a lot of people did it. A lot of people did it because it was comedy, and not a lot of people haven't done it. And, you know, I've only done a Realm Reborn. I didn't do Heaven's Ward, and I haven't done Stormblood. You know? So it makes you go back and do all that content. Yeah, that was kind of a risk. What else? Variant dungeons. You know, variant dungeons are like a little bit like Mythics in WoW. You know? It was new. But I guess they're just going through the motions. Like, they're not going to try anything. And obviously, you know, 7.0 could be something completely different.
Just not anymore. It honestly feels, and I'm sure this is going to be probably the most upsetting thing I say in this video, it honestly feels like it's a game that's designed as a way to placate angry WoW players. It's a game that's set up to catch the player who gets so angry at World of Warcraft. Here's a nice place to land. And that's a great business model. Honestly, it's pretty damn smart. And at the end of the day, it's just not a game that exists for me anymore, and that's perfectly fine. Not every game has to be for Brian, and despite my time with it, I don't regret any of the time I spent in 14. I don't regret helping people get into the game at all, but it's time for me to say goodbye, and those are the 3 reasons why I'm leaving Final Fantasy 14. So it's at this point we talk about what comes next. Brian, what about the controller guides? Brian, what about live letters? What about FanFest? What about you and Chris at Work to Game? How is the content going to be structured? Work to Game was always a collaborative vision, a vision of sitting down and discussing MMORPGs, vision of discussing video games overall, but obviously a passion for the MMO. Chris has a great love for World of Warcraft. He loves Guild Wars too. I agree with him on Guild Wars, not so much on World of Warcraft, but we also share a handful of games, and so we're going to continue those discussions, and we're going to continue that show. And if you guys are interested in that, that's something that we're going to keep moving forward on. When it comes to the controller guides specifically, I've got 6 left to finish. I'm going to finish those. I started this. I want to make sure that everybody who's been waiting for those is able to get what they need so they can enjoy the job that they want on the input that they enjoy playing the game on. Hopefully that helps out. It always is very encouraging to me when I hear somebody, either they enjoy it, their kids end up playing the game and they're able to play with their family because controller's a little bit more easy to understand, I think, personally, if you've never played on mouse and keyboard. And then also for those of you who are physically impaired, who have some kind of, inability to play on a mouse and keyboard, that I've been able to help out. So that means a lot to me, and I'm very glad that I've been able to help out. But the reality is I'm going to finish those. I don't think I'm going to do, if I ever play the game again, any kind of crazy Omni 100 or whatever they end up doing, namely because I think that really is a big thing that I didn't enjoy. I did it out of the love for the community, despite some of the community just being the absolute worst of humanity. I did it out of the love for the really good people, the parts of the community that I love. And so I want to finish those because I want people to be able to have that. Maybe somebody will step up and do controller guides, from here on out, and that'd be great. Maybe they'll simplify and
maybe
figure out some things to do.
Maybe get Chili to do it.
Really cool technology. That'd be great too. Within the controller setup, I'll be very curious. Again, looking for a reinventation, because they talk about another 10-year plan, and I don't know. It feels feels like it's complete, and I'm happy with where it was. So that's where I'm going to finish those. And then in terms of live letters and coverage of the news, I've got 13 plus years experience with this game. I think I can provide a lot of historical value and also a level of curiosity. Is this a piece of content that would make me want to play the game again? However, and with respect to those of you guys who might be upset that somebody who's not playing the game is covering it, and we know that those people exist, I'll be looking for feedback. If it ends up causing too much trouble, too much drama, too many trees like hitting the window, I'll be sure to kind of take that into account and would be willing to step away from that coverage if it became an issue where it was just causing people pain. I'm not here to dunk.
I mean, what you could do for that, Brian, is simply just watch other people play and kind of like, obviously to cover, like you don't have to pay, because obviously it's £9 a month. It's space on your hard drive that you don't, you might want to use for something else. But again, just watch other people play, do your research. Again, you're a professional. You'll probably do that anyway. So I don't think a lot of people are going to be kind of like too butthurt or whatever that you're not playing the game, but you still did your research on it. No, I think that's fine. You still put effort into it. No, you didn't get a first-hand experience, on the game, but you did your research. That, that's all like anyone could ask. Like, that's all I care. Like, I do my research when it comes to podcasting every now and then. When I haven't been able to play the game, I still did my research and I still looked, even though it doesn't sound like it. But yeah, But if it does hurt other people, I think they need to, like, I'm not gonna lie, use their brain if they think that it's gonna hurt, whatever, or they're just gonna be butthurt about it that you're not playing the game. I do think they need to have a reality check. But other than that, you're a professional. You're gonna do your research. It's like, you're not just gonna come up and just say, "Oh, I have an opinion on this," and not do your research. That's unprofessional. But you are a professional person, so that's fine.
On your game and kill your joy. Like, I'm a very joyful person, and I really want Final Fantasy XIV to do better and to be better. And it's unfortunate that as a game it's become that. It's become a game where the idea that it could improve is such an insult to people, versus where in New World, like, saying the game can improve, everybody gets excited. Like, yes, oh my gosh, imagine when we see this happen and when we can get this kind of content. Like, it's a very hopeful group where
I mean, I guess I'm the minority when it comes to Final Fantasy then, because I want classes to change. I want them to take risks as well. I want them to, when Chili said about that Dragoon changes, like before an Ultimate, like, it was going to come out before 7.0, I was like, do it. Please, just do it. I want to watch, I guess I'm kind of a masochist, but I like to watch people relearn their class. That's what I love about like new expansions, because the classes change. And that's what I'm hoping for 7.0. I'm hoping there's going to be like, you know what? We're just going to change every single class. Could it be for the better? Could it be for the worst? At least they've tried something. Same with Summoner. Like, look at Summoner. That changed drastically. Look at Machinist. That changed drastically. Do a lot of people play Machinist? No. Do a lot of people play Summoner? Yes. I wish, change, take Warrior, completely change it. I don't know. Take, people, with Final Fantasy, sometimes people just don't know what they want. You have the Raiders that all they really look forward to is a new Ultima. And what Final Fantasy been doing? They've been churning out an Ultima. Apparently we're getting a new Ultima soon. Like, they're churning out hard content for people to do. That's fine. They're giving out hard content with, like, the variant dungeons. Obviously, they're giving out hard content for that. But I would like them to, like, they've done it before. They removed TP. They have taken leaps to, like, change the game, or I don't know why I say that, but, like, change the meta of the game, kind of thing. But changes is always happening in Final Fantasy, be it a expansion, but I guess you don't want it to be Like, it can improve in some areas. I don't know what it could improve on, because I kind of just like the game right now, because I've just been sitting there. But to do better, like, that's a toughie. That is a toughie. I mean, I think what I would like them to do better with is probably more world building. Is that I would like them to do better with, like, you know, I want more open world stuff. You know, things to do around the world that are not just hunts and fates. You know.
In 14, it's a very defensive,
or treasure maps,
and in a way insecure kind of a defensive. I always kind of was confused by that mindset. You know, that the idea that you're playing a game that does change in its nature, but yet you're absolutely afraid of that. That community policing is, it just drives every good idea and even every bad idea. Just it's got to crush them all, because can't let this game change. We have to, you know, control the narrative. And it's not for those reasons that I'm leaving. The 3 reasons I listed are the reasons, but I'm sure that those people will pop their head in occasion. But you know what? That's the game that they play. But that's essentially my plan, and those are the reasons why Final Fantasy XIV isn't the game for me. I really would love for it to become a game for me again. I've debated regarding FanFest. I want to go, because even if it's 7.0 isn't a re-invitation, I want to hang out with everybody. We haven't had a physical FanFest in a while, and it'd be really great to see everybody, to hang out with everybody, to share that experience, if not at least for one last time, one last hurrah. But I'll keep you guys up to date on what that plan looks like, because I don't know. Like right now I have subscription, and some of you guys were so generous, especially with my financial situation over the last couple of months, that were able to gift me sub time. And so one thought I have is continuing to keep my sub active as a part of going or trying to go to FanFest. I don't know if I'll get media access or not. I mean, that's obviously a question. Maybe Chris will be the only one who gets media access. Who knows? But I'm not going to sit here and try to placate that and at the same time not be enjoying the content. I am not enjoying the time. But that's going to be the plan. Now, I have debated shifting my subscription into the Final Fantasy XI bucket, because Final Fantasy XI means a lot to me. I'm debating on that. I have not yet reached a decision. You can let me know how you feel either way in the comments. I'll be very curious as to that. But most of my time, if in terms of gaming, is really going to be focusing in on New World. Obviously, I'm very excited and looking forward to the future MMOs as well. So I'll be looking forward to that, and that's something where I'll shift my coverage to.
Oh yeah, same.
Yet with Gingerprime, I become a
okay.
11 channel might just be a general Final Fantasy channel. At the end of the day, you know, there's no wrong answers. We're just looking for the questions to ask, and that's going to be the thought there. But I wanted to give you guys this message. I wanted to give you guys these thoughts, and wish you all the best. And thank you so much for all the support, especially within the world of Final Fantasy over these years. And hopefully none of this is surprising. Hopefully none of this upset you, but you can let me know one way or the other. Thanks, guys, so much again for your time. Thanks for listening to these words.
Okay. That was interesting. That was interesting. I mean, it comes a time when you played a game long enough. Like look at Asmongold. Asmongold played WoW for a very long time, and then he like went off and did other content. He came to Final Fantasy. He went to New World. You know, look at Seth. She played WoW for a long time, and then she came to Final Fantasy, and she is now doing Final Fantasy stuff. You know, you don't have to single yourself out to a game. Like shit, I've been playing fucking MMOs a lot. I've played WoW. I've played Final Fantasy. I played Final Fantasy for coming up to 8 years now. You know, I've played WoW as well. Shit, I played RuneScape. I played Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm playing New World currently. You know, I'm enjoying that. You know, playing other MMOs makes you have a broader perspective for the main MMO you play. Now, my main MMO is still Final Fantasy XIV. I've been finding it hard to play, but that's because I had a terrible PC. Now I have a good PC. You know, I can sit and play games. You know, and that's like the best part. You know, I can play games now. I can play it. I can stream it. That's the best part about it. You know, I still love Final Fantasy. I'll probably move forward, but I get where Chris is coming from. Not Chris. Brian, I see where Brian's coming from. I'm so sorry, Brian. You know, I see where he's coming from because it is very, very hard when you don't. Like, you still think the game's good, but you want to put your time into a different game. I get that 100% because when the Riot Games MMO comes out, I'm going to be playing the absolute dog's bollocks of that. You know, that's going to be the game I'm going to be playing. Yeah, Riot Games has fucked me over in the past with my main account getting hacked, and then the person who hacked it was hacking on it, and then it got permabanned. And then I tried to obviously recover it and talk to them. They couldn't do anything about it. And then they bring two-way authentication in. Yeah, great, thanks. You know, but I still play that, and I'm still looking forward to the Riot MMO because I'm very interested in the Riot MMO. Ashes of Creation looked pretty cool, but you know, it's like, and New World. Like, my friend bought New World for my birthday a while back, and we played a little bit. But then we stopped because obviously Final Fantasy, the new expansion of Final Fantasy was coming out. But I've been getting back into New World, and it is a good game. And I see, like, you know, and Chris has done so much with Final Fantasy, obviously with, not Chris, fuck, Brian. Brian and Chris have done so much for the Final Fantasy community that I think, you know, their words, their power of what their videos do can help out another MMO, how they've kind of helped out this one. I think, yeah, go for it. Like, you know, if you want to put your time into something else, then put your time into something else. Like, I stopped playing Final Fantasy for a couple of weeks because I was playing NBA. Because I wanted to put my time into playing NBA 2K23. You know, because I like those games. You know? And now I have a PC, I can play all these other games that, you know, I couldn't stream or play before. AKA New World, WoW properly. Because now I don't lag in WoW. You know, I can play all these games, stream them, have fun, make content for them. And I see where Brian's from. Like, Brian's going over to New World because he enjoys New World. You can't hate a person for liking another game and want to do content for another game. But he also has family commitments. You know, comedy. You know, like, he's a comedian as well. You know, he wants to do a lot of IRL stuff, not just live on the internet like an internet gremlin, aka me. I live on the internet because I have no other talents, you know. You know, but I wish him the best. You know, we'll still have him on the show every now and then. Why not? Shit, I invite you to come on the show soon, Brian, and talk more about this. You know, I'm having a lovely conversation about it because I understand where you're coming from. You know, family comes first. Your IRL career comes first, obviously with being a comedian. And then you have, you know, a game you want to put more time into and make content and kind of see that. And you're also finishing off stuff for Final Fantasy. The controller guides, you're finishing off for people, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm now done with Final Fantasy. Move on to New World content. I get that. That's good. I wish you the best of luck. So yeah, if you do see this, it'll be on YouTube. But yeah, best luck, bud. I'll probably like tune in every now and then to watch some New World because I want to start playing New World and start like actually thinking of how endgame is. So yeah. So you guys can follow me through that, but yeah. You know what? I don't subscribe that much on YouTube anymore. There we go.